Just in case you guys were wondering, all of the content that you see in regards to the personal and close interviews that we are having were pre-recorded because our team is super proactive and we have accumulated content that we would still like to share with you all. So we are practicing safe protocol. Stay tuned.
Welcome to another episode of SacTown Underground. On today's episode, we have fashion attorney Miss Udak, Keith Jouganatos, our very own pitmaster Tracey Mendonsa, and a musical performance by Austin Moe. Up next, we have fashion attorney Miss Udak at Sacramento Fashion Week.
Hi, I'm Jen, and I'm here with
Udak, Miss Udak.
and she has an amazing story. So you were a model,
Yes.
and now you are a lawyer, a fashion lawyer. Now that is a very unique profession to get into. How did you transition from model to fashion lawyer?
So fashion and entertainment law, how I transitioned was I always knew I wanted to be a lawyer, no question about it. So I pretty much had to carve my own way because back then there was nothing like fashion law. And when I was in the law industry and I would say fashion law, people would look at me like I was crazy. And then on the fashion end, as a model, you can't act like you're smart, right? We're clothes hangers, so we're supposed to just wear clothes and go on the runway. But I essentially determined that this is what I want to do. The industry does need lawyers that can represent across the industry value chain, from the raw manufacturer to the retailers, the fashion photographers, models, agencies, and that I was the girl for it. So I essentially carved out my own step.
I love it. So like being able to empower women, models, everyone around you has to be very inspirational. And then you're a professor now?
Yes, in addition, I'm an adjunct professor. I just taught the first ever fashion law course at Sacramento State University. I also teach at the Academy of Art as well.
That is so amazing. So how did you get involved with Sac Fashion Week?
Wow, it goes a long way. That's a good question. How did I meet Dwayne? I can't remember, but all I know is for a long time he's been asking me to speak on the fashion forums, panels, which I've spoken on, just spoke this past Tuesday as well. And I can't remember how we met. I know we're both Bay Area transplants. And, when you're around the fashion circle for a while, you keep seeing the same faces and there's opportunities for synergies. So, yeah.
That's so amazing. So there's so much partnership and collaboration that constantly goes on behind the scenes that people don't know about it. And we were kind of talking a little bit before we were on camera about, being able to transition your career. You never know where you're going to end up. If someone would have told you 10 years ago you would be in this field, would you have believed them?
Yes, I would, because I always knew that I would do this. On the father side of the family is all law, judiciary, law enforcement. Mom is all creative arts, fashion being a big part of it. My maternal grandfather being involved in fashion for so long. So I just am the kid with both sides, and I embrace it fully and create my own path and trailblaze it, and here we are.
You can never stop evolving as a person. I think this is a really great example. If you set your mind to anything, you get to do whatever you want.
I agree. And when you talk about, journalism and hosting, I have a degree in communications from college. And as a result of that journalism part has gotten me through all kinds of amazing doors, including fashion. Because once I stopped modeling, which I always did to help pay my way through school, I was able to now pick up the pen and start, writing and covering extensive shows. And I had such knowledge of the shows because I was the one wearing the fabrics. I was the model walking down the runway. And then from writing, I started to host just like you were doing, and so many more. And then now I have a podcast as well. So you're right. The possibilities are endless as a communicator. Put yourself out there and say, yes, it is. Have that vision, have clarity about the purpose of where you're trying to go, and go for it. Absolutely, I agree.
I love it. You believed in yourself and have made this whole niche market for yourself and have changed the industry forever. Congratulations.
Thank you so much. And I'm really, really grateful for those people that are early adopters, from students to other colleagues in the fashion industry that have said, what, we want to do this fashion law thing, and are joining with basically a movement. So thank you.
Awesome. So if people want to learn more about you or connect with you, how should they get a hold of you?
Well, I'll make it easy. They can go to my website, msudak.com, missudak.com. That's my central hub for law, for fashion, everything you want about me, all right there.
Fantastic. Thank you so much, and I can't wait to see what you're going to do next.
Thank you for the opportunity. I appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Up next, we have our very own sports commentator, Keith Jouganatos.
Thank you, everybody, and once again, we welcome you to the sports section of our Access Sacramento show. I'm Keith Jouganatos, and this is the sports section. The Bay Area football scene is going in two different ways, with two different teams managed, organized, and scrutinized two different ways. Let's start on the first side. Bang, bang, Niner gang. The San Francisco 49ers are back and are relevant once more in the National Football League. Their first 8-0 start since the 1990s and the Joe Montana days of the franchise. They've got a young, blossoming head coach in Kyle Shanahan, and they've got a rising star quarterback in Jimmy Garoppolo, who loves to play football just as much as he loves dating on the outside. They are, without a doubt, one of the most hottest teams. After drafting Nick Bosa 2 years ago and putting him in there, the Niners' defense is one of the best in the entire NFL. And really, it comes down to one thing. The owner decided to get out of the way, which did not happen on the other side of the Bay Area. The Oakland Raiders are just the Raiders. They are out of Oakland, leaving the clattered dust and the speck of the kind of synonymous big pond, small fish mentality and going to Las Vegas. How are the Oakland Raiders going to Las Vegas? They are leaving with two middle fingers up and their foot on the gas pedal. The Raiders weren't as bad as everyone thought they'd be this year, but they were still bad. They beat teams that no one thought they could beat, such as perhaps the Chicago Bears, but they also lost to teams that maybe they should have beat, such as the New York Jets and, of course, the Jacksonville Jaguars. And speaking of that Jacksonville Jaguars game, what a way to go out, Oakland Raider Nation. What a way to really just give the Oakland fans what they've always wanted, a winning team, a good product. Psych, didn't do that. Final game at the Oakland Coliseum. You're thinking, oh, what a great time to be alive. The Oakland Raiders with a potential playoff spot on the line. The Oakland Raiders in front of their numerous, large fan base. The Oakland Raiders looking to give the Oakland Raider fans one more lasting image at the Coliseum. Nope, they blow a lead, and in the process, they lose their entire season and the playoffs down the drain. But that wasn't the big story in regards to the Oakland Raiders, a team whose slogan reads, "Commitment to excellence," has been anything but. Commitment to excellence, more like commitment to sucking. So, let's take you back. Mark Davis and the Oakland City Council don't have the best relationship. Mark Davis and the city of Oakland don't have the best relationship in general. So here's what you're looking for. Mark Davis, pregame before the Raiders take on the Jaguars, asked, will he miss anything about the Oakland Coliseum? Will he miss anything about the city of Oakland in general? You're thinking, what a great time for a nice softball PR answer. Thank the city of Oakland for years of supporting the team. Thank the Raider fans for being the most passionate and most loyal fan base in the entire National Football League. Nope. Instead, you get this, Oakland, California. Well done, Mark. Way to really show the Raider fans how much they mean to you, how much they've meant to your family, how much they've meant in general to all the football fans. It could have been so easy to say, thank you, Raider fans. Thank you for supporting this team for so long. Nope. Instead, what do, Mark? You give them two middle fingers and you put your foot right on that gas pedal and you head out of town without a sound. That is the mark of somebody who is ungrateful. That is the mark of somebody who is one of the worthless pieces of garbage in the entire National Football League. And that is the mark of somebody who shows you why this team has been so inept, who shows you why this team has been so bad for so many years. Put this into perspective. The Raiders came back to Oakland in 1995. They've been back in Oakland, California for 24 years playing football. Out of those 24 years, they have made the playoffs 4 times. Out of those 24 years, they have won the division less than 5 times. That is not commitment to excellence. That is a commitment to absolute garbage. But it's warranted. It's due. And when the Raiders go to Las Vegas, they will not be good. When the Raiders go to Las Vegas, they will not put any more butts in the seats than they could have in Oakland. They are losing one of the most diehard, passionate fan bases in the NFL. You can thank Mark Davis for why this team has been so bad, and you can thank Mark Davis for why this team is leaving on such a sour note. The Raider fans deserve better. It's like being handed a nice, beautiful steak with mashed potatoes and somebody just throwing it right in the garbage and saying, here, have a bite. Well done, Mark Davis. You are, without a doubt, the biggest piece of garbage in the National Football League, and it's going to stay that way until further notice. That's going to do it for the sports section. I'm Keith Jouganatos. Back to you in the studio.
And now on SacTown Underground, we have our very own pitmaster, Tracey Mendonsa.
Hello everybody, Tracy from T-Bones Barbecue here again today. I want to go over another great meal that you can cook while you're stuck at home during this COVID-19 pandemic that we're all suffering through. If you're going to be home all day, you might as well cook some really good food. And this is one of those items that you can enjoy for 1, 2, possibly even 3 days as multiple uses. So today we have a pork shoulder. This is a pork shoulder you can pick up at any local grocery store or a box store. Real simple here. So these pork shoulders usually come in packs of 1 or 2. Is here, and they have a little flap like this, so you fold it over. I like to kind of get it like that, so it's open like that. Take your rub, like again, I make my own rub, but you can buy any of store-bought rubs or make your own rub. Don't be afraid to experiment. Like I said last week, everyone has their own taste buds, so you want to get something that tastes good to you. So the important thing on these pork shoulders, aside from keeping the pan straight, is to get a real good coating of rub. Now, like I said before, I'm real generous on my rubs because it's going to render down a lot of this fat and collagen. Pork is one of those meats that has a lot of it, so it's going to take a long time for this to break down. So you want that rub really rubbed into the meat well. You want to go ahead and get as much of that meat covered as possible. Do your inside first, like I'm doing, which is a lot easier because you'll see in a second. We fold this back over. Now that whole inside is done. So here's your bottom part, which is your bottom fat. This is where most of your fat on the shoulder is going to be. And when you place it on your grill or on your smoker, you're going to put the fat part down. Flip it over like this. Go ahead and run it down the middle like this. And then what I do is just take my hand and then I can go back and forth this way. Whatever comes off to the sides is going to coat the sides of your roast as well, or your shoulder, excuse me. But I like a little extra crispy edges on my shoulder. I'm going to go ahead and put a little there, put a little here on the back end. And then let's not forget the other side. There we go. That looks good. And then what you'll have, if you have a cutting board or a pan, you'll have extra here. What I like to do is just go ahead and not waste your rub. If it's good rub, you never want to waste your rub. Go ahead and just run your shoulder across there, and that'll pick up all your extra rub. Now you can do this on a smoker or on a traditional barbecue or a charcoal Weber. If you're doing it on a grill, you want to do you want to put the shoulder down on one side and then light the other side. So they call that indirect heat. You don't want to put the heat directly underneath this. If you're doing it on a smoker, any one of the smokers, the heat's already at the bottom, so you're not going to have that issue. But if you're doing it on a briquette or a charcoal grill, you want to put the shoulder off to one side and you want the heat source to be on the other side. You want to keep your heat at 225 to 235 degrees. And we're going to smoke this today between 8 and 9 hours, which is what it's going to take for this fat to render down, get a nice, fully cooked, tender pork shoulder. And then in the end, we're going to shred this. So we're going to walk over to the smoker here. We're going to put it in here. And then once we get this in the smoker today, we're going to check back on it in a couple hours, because there's some other things that you're going to want to do to make this shoulder phenomenal for you and your family's upcoming dinners. Go ahead and just pop this guy in here. I'm going to put him right in the middle so he gets good heat source there. Straighten out our grill. And like I said, we're going to put him in here. Check back on him in a couple hours. Earlier this morning, we went ahead and showed you how to rub and prep a pork shoulder for you to smoke at home while you're stuck at home during these long days of the coronavirus. So right now, our pork shoulder has been on for about 4 hours. We're going to go ahead and pull it out of the smoker. I'm going to show you what the next phase to do to get your pork shoulder going and get closer to you enjoying this wonderful piece of meat. We're going to go ahead and pull it out. Like I say, it's been on for 4 hours. 230 degrees over a combination of cherry and hickory wood. If you're using a pellet stove, you're using propane or briquettes or whatever you're doing, again, it's okay to use a little bit of smoke. It's okay to introduce smoke to these types of meats, especially pork. They take smoke very well. It increases the flavor. Don't be afraid either to go ahead and mix up some of your wood. If you want to combine different wood flavors and things like that, that's going to give you even more of a profound profile. It's going to certainly enhance the flavor of the meat. So what we're going to do now, it's starting to cook. Like I said, it's been in 4 hours. You can kind of see the smoke has kind of darkened the outer edge of the meat. You're starting to see some of the caramelization on the edges. You're seeing a lot of the fat that we saw earlier today is starting to render down. All that is what you're supposed to do. Do not be concerned that this looks dark and overdone. It's not. This type of meat has a lot of fat and a lot of collagen in it. It's going to take some time to break it down. So don't be alarmed when you see it looking dark on the outside. That's how it's supposed to look. You want it to look that way. So what I have here is 2 sheets of standard aluminum foil, about an arm's length, so about 2 feet wide. What you want to do is just take it, wrap it over like this, like the other one. Make sure you curl your edges up like this. Why you want to do it this way is when the roast, or the shoulder, excuse me, continues to cook, it's going to create juice. You don't want that juice to flow down into your barbecue, your pellet grill, your smoker, whatever you're using. This way the juice won't flow out of any of the open creases on the fold. So you want to fold it up like this. Go ahead and take the corners, just tuck it in real nice like that. Same thing on this side. Fold in the corners, kind of pinch it and tuck it up. So we went this way as you saw last time, or a second ago. Now we're going to go this way. So you alternate the direction of your foil. Again, curl up your edges like this, just kind of fold them over. Same thing on this side. And then once you have everything curled over, just kind of take your hands. You want this to be a tight seal. You want this to be a tight fit for the foil. Okay, so we've got your pork shoulder all wrapped in foil. We're going to go ahead and take it back over here to our smoker. We're going to put this in for another 4 hours, 4 to 5 hours, so it gets continues to cook. What this foil is going to do is going to keep that juice in there. It's going to continue to keep that pork moist. It's going to continue to keep it cooking. It's going to keep all those juices in there, so when you open it back up, you're going to get a lot of the juice, which you want. It tastes really, really good. Always good to have that. So we got our shoulder back in there. We're going to put it on for another 4 or 5 hours, again at 250 degrees. We'll check back in 5 hours and see how we're doing. We put our pork shoulder up 9 hours ago. It's been in our smoker for 9 hours. We wrapped it at the 4 hour mark in our foil, put it back in there. It's now ready to get pulled off. So we're going to pull it off. We're going to see how this looks. I can already tell. Nice and pliable. All right. So you have to get a pan like this. Go ahead and open it up. Oh yeah, look at that. Very nice. Now be careful when you're unwrapping this, because these get very, very juicy after they've been smoking for this long. Look at that. That's all that juice. This is why we wrapped it at the 4 hour mark, to make sure you get all that juice in there. So what you're going to do is you're just going to go ahead and turn this here. Use your foil. Just kind of dip it like that so your juice will spill out. And then you just want to turn this upside down. Keep the foil towards you, so in case it splashes, you don't splash that hot juice onto yourself and burn you, or get it onto your clothes. There you go. Look at that. So what you want to do next is we're going to shred this. We're going to use this as pulled pork. You can use this in tacos and carnitas. Use it in sandwiches. You can eat it just as pulled pork. You can make really good sandwiches out of them. Sliders. I mean, there's really nothing you can't do with pulled pork. So I have these little pullers here. You can get these at most barbecue equipment stores. They're sharp. They're made to claw and pull meat apart. If you don't have these, you can certainly use just 2 large kitchen forks and do the same thing. But since I have the claws, I'm going to use them. So we're going to go ahead and start pulling this. Look at that. It just pulls right apart. And you'll notice here on the bottom, in the beginning of the day, we had all that fat at the bottom when we were seasoning the bottom. All that fat is rendered down now, and it's rendered back into the meat, and what you have here is just some super tender, very nice, tender, very juicy pork. So what you want to do is just keep shredding this way. You know, take your shredders, go this way, and then shred the opposite way so you get nice even shreds. Do the same thing all the way across. Once your whole shoulder is shredded, let it rest for about 10-15 minutes if you're not going to eat it right away. Put it in your refrigerator, save it for later, wrap it up, put it in whatever dish you want to. So that's how you make a very simple pork shoulder, and which later becomes a nice shredded pulled pork. Follow us on Facebook at T-Bones Barbecue, or on Instagram at T-Bones Island Barbecue, or find us on our website at tbonesbarbecue.com. We'll catch you next time.
And as always, we end our show with a musical performance with our very own Austin Moe with Bring It On Home.
Ticket, I've got that load. Going up, going higher, all aboard. Gonna take my seat right way back. Oh yeah, watch that train roll down the tracks. Bring it on home, bring it back home to you. Watch out, man, move.